thank you for tuning in to another episode of A Lending Hand with Lauren and Eric. I'm Eric Gerber with Homeside Financial and the Gerber Group. This is Lauren Walton. We're sitting in the beautiful home of Sheryl Buechly, a real estate agent in the greater Cincinnati market. Sheryl, thank you for inviting us into your home.
My pleasure.
Appreciate you making time.
Yeah, I'm happy to have you. So welcome. Thank you.
So please tell us how long you've been a real estate agent and why this market and why being a realtor, period.
Oh, well, I've been a realtor in Ohio since 2005. So a realtor previously in some other states, Colorado and California. But 2005 in Ohio. And why a realtor? Well, sometimes I still ask myself that question, why a realtor? Especially in different and challenging markets. Not that every market isn't challenging. Every market we're in is challenging. And I try not to bemoan that. Because they all have pleasure to them too, and there's some silver lining, and you can learn from all of them as well. But yeah, so since 2005, and I'm a realtor because I enjoy it.
Okay, very good. So you were in Colorado, you were in California also. How is Ohio, from a realtor's perspective, different?
Well, it's not state by state, they're different because pretty much all the laws are the same.
Sure.
But market to market, the territory we find ourselves in is different. Real estate in general, from state to state, it's all relatively the same.
Okay.
I could go into any state in the United States and I could tell you what a house is worth within, $5,000 to $10,000 and sell it. Once you have those skills, you have those skills. Sure. So real estate really is not different from state to state itself. Mm-hmm. It's just market overall may be different. The market of the time, like right now, we're in an Uber seller's market in general in the United States. Of course, there's certain pockets where maybe, very small pockets may not be seeing that the way the general populace of the United States is saying.
So what does that mean that it's a seller's market?
Seller's market, a seller has all the power.
Yep.
So we're not seeing seller's market. Again, seller has all the power. Seller pretty much dictates all the terms and the buyer is just happy to keep giving. So in a market like this, there's the asking price. You can expect in a market like this, an Uber seller's market, you may have to pay over the asking price. There might be competition. It really comes back to supply and demand. We have very small supply stock of homes and then huge demand. That's what creates the seller market. So it's just economics 101. When we're in a buyer's market, then the buyer has all the power. That's when those sellers get beat up. We see both markets. It's very rare that we get a nice, good, balanced market, which is what we're always fighting for. But that's what we'd always like to see.
Sure.
We would always like to see houses that are on the market for 35 to 45 days before they get a contract. So that's a good, healthy market. We're now seeing houses that are on the market for 2 hours, they're gone. So that's not healthy. Typically, a house needs 7 showings to get an offer. We're getting those 7 showings within the first hour on the market.
Wow.
Getting those offers. By the end of the first day, we might have 6 offers in. So, yeah, supply and demand.
So how do you motivate buyers in a market like this?
You have to be a cheerleader in a market like this. People tend to get a bit dejected in a market like this.
Sure.
They get weary. Mm-hmm. You have to make them see that, yes, it's still worth it. Yes, you do have to just do the work. You just have to keep putting in offers because really now it's just a numbers game. You have to continue. Just the more offers you make, the better chances you have. Sure. To land a house. Now, even with all of the tools that you use, both price and terms, you're not necessarily guaranteed to be the top bidder.
Sure.
Using all the tools that we have. So you just have to encourage people to say, hey, we will get lucky eventually.
Yes. Just have to be willing to
You
ride it out.
have to be willing to
run the
ride it
course.
out. You
Sure.
have to be willing to be the biggest, toughest guy, coming in on this deal.
And act fast.
And act fast. A lot of times you have to prove it to people, though. A lot of times they're like, nah, it can't really be like that. Is it really like that?
Sure.
And they need a couple swings at bat to realize that, my agent's telling the truth. Oh,
Sure.
yeah, I thought I was going to get that house all day at 20,000 over in limited inspections, but no, I got smacked all around here. I got punched right in the nose.
Yeah.
They try it a second time, getting a little bit more aggressive. And then usually by the third time, they're like, oh, okay, why don't you suggest to me what we're going to do?
Sure.
And at that point we say, okay, let's go guerrilla. Let me write this for you. Let's go. This is what we're going to do. And this is why.
Yes.
Tell them, this is how we're doing it. This is why we're doing it like this. This is how the seller is thinking. This is what your competition is writing.
Sure. That's the importance of having a good agent who understands the market and understands and knows what it takes to get an offer accepted. What would you say, like, the importance of having a great lender partner means?
Oh, that was all the difference in the world. Because a market like this, it can change from week to week, almost from day to day. So you really do have to have your finger on the pulse of the market, on buyers, what they're thinking, their emotions, on sellers, and where it's going. The market we're in right here at this instant might be different next week. So that communication of what's going on from week to week, what are you seeing in the market? What are you feeling in the market? What's the market like right now? So important. You have to have a lender that is fast, that's quick, that knows what the buyer is thinking too, and knows the emotions of the buyer, because it's a very emotional and stressful business that we're in, and that a stressful situation that they're going through.
You're right.
So we really need to be able to work hand in hand to pull them through this process for their greater good, because it's not easy. You do need two professionals helping them all the way through. And then it's not just us two. You have your attorneys, you have your entire team behind you. So when you're all said and done, all the people involved with a couple buying a house, you end up having 30, 40 people involved in this process of getting them all the way through to their closing date.
Yes.
I mean, it's a huge team effort. And it's so nice that they can blithely go along and go, oh, that was so easy. No, it wasn't. We just protected you from all that.
Yeah, I think the dialogue between, the lender and the agent, has to be so strong, and you have to give us the information of what you're seeing out there, and vice versa, and figure out ways to be creative together, because it is ever changing.
And what can you do? And hey, I've got this situation. Oh, this is weird. Can you do anything?
Can we try?
There are so many people that normally they should be able to get a house, and they are now shut out of this market.
It's terrible.
People that FHA, forget it. Really, forget it.
Difficult.
I mean, you have to find a way to get them in the door, just through having a strong partner to get them in, to make them so enticing, and then working together as a partnership and getting those letters to present to those listing agents to say, hey, this person's already been through the process. They are good to go. These are good buyers and good people. And it's so nice to have that partnership with you.
Let me flip this around on you for a second. So you're the listing agent, okay? And it is obviously a seller's market. What are you looking for before you agree to, or what are you looking for in an offer to say yes? I mean, what grabs your attention? How does somebody get it done?
Well, price is important, but terms are even more important. It's not necessarily the highest bid. I just took on a new listing actually yesterday. It's a coming soon. So at this point, only agents and their clients know about it. The public doesn't know about it, which is one of the biggest secrets and biggest power tools that agents have to serve their clients. But yeah, so the terms are really important. So in a Uber seller's market like this, you want to have, first of all, a really strong lender. You want to make sure it's a recognized lender. You want to make sure that It's a true pre-approval.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to have somebody from out of area. You want to have it teamwork.
Sure.
You don't want some .com company that's sitting, 4 states away on a telephone, and they're just processing through 300 deals a month, 400 deals a month, and they're not paying attention. They don't care if they lose a few. So what? They've got another 50 filtering through this week. Who cares if I lose a few or not? You don't want that situation. So you want a really strong partner that you're going to be dealing with. So the lender is going to be the very first thing that you're going to look at. If it's a finance deal, you have to have good, strong financing. Then you're going to be looking at your terms. Are they going to waive their inspections? Are they going to either shorten or waive the insurance inspection period? Basically, you need to have homeowners insurance, right? Right. Do you really need 2 weeks to really understand that you need homeowners insurance? No.
Sure.
Waive it. We're looking at appraisal gaps.
Sure.
If it's a cash deal, are you willing to completely just waive the appraisal? So, there's all kinds of terms that you can play with that makes it super enticing. It makes a seller feel more comfortable that, okay, we're not going to get into a contract with this person, get into an inspection period, and then they're going to start hammering me for silly little things.
Sure.
You can even play with an inspection contingency in ways where you still have some protection, but
Sure.
you're still making the seller feel good as well. But yeah.
How important is a fast closing date?
It depends on the situation. Obviously, if the house is vacant, the faster the people can get to the money, the better.
Sure.
Fast closing date can go hand in hand with a cash deal.
Mm-hmm.
So, if it's a cash deal and you're closing in 4 days,
Done.
cash is king.
Yeah.
And it's just verifiable. Absolutely. That's very important. You can take $5,000, $10,000 less than the highest bidder. You don't have to wait for financing.
Yeah.
Or wonder if they're actually going to get their financing, or if something's going to go wrong. So anything could happen
Sure.
in a 30-day period of time. Somebody could get hit by a bus. In 4 days, done.
That's always like the encouragement we give clients too on being pre-approved, is because you're setting yourself up to be able to offer a quicker close and be able to leverage that
Right.
with your offer. And that goes back into the terms that you talked about that are so important. If you can offer a shorter close because you've taken the steps up front to get pre-approved, that goes a long way when you're submitting offers.
Right. And you can't even submit an offer right now without a pre-approval. In this market, there is no such thing. In fact, many agents will not even take people out without a pre-approval.
Wow.
They
Well,
might
makes sense.
meet them
That's good
the
to
first
know.
time, meet
Clients.
them, make the contact, introduce themselves.
Yeah.
Then after that, you need a pre-approval.
Sure. I want to make sure they're serious and they're vetted.
Right.
Make sure there's no concerns on the financing side.
Yeah.
So the appraisal gap situation is fairly a newer thing, right?
So it's been around. It has been around for a while. It just hasn't been enacted for a while because we weren't in a seller's market. We weren't in an escalation mode.
Sure.
But it's been around. It's been a tool that's been in our pocket for a long, long time, many years.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, we haven't had to use this in
it.
such a long time. Now we're pulling it back out. It's just like when we're in a buyer's market, we're going to have all these tools again. It's like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Let's
Sure.
pull this tool
Yeah.
back out,
Right.
So we're going to get back because we're going to do that. There's so many tools that we have that we can use, ways to blow up deals if we need to. There's so many things that we can do as agents. Public should never represent themselves. You should just never do a FSBO. You should never try to buy a house on your own. You really should get an experienced agent and an experienced loan officer on your side.
Yeah, I don't disagree either.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think values are going to go in the next 6, 12, 18 months?
Well, I think honestly that they're going to stabilize. It's unsustainable to expect to get 18 to 20% year after year after year. So we've already had in our area 2 years of that really strong growth in our most popular areas. I think by the end of this year and into 2023, we should expect to see some leveling. We're at our peak right now. We should be at 3% to 6% per year.
All right, so you see it leveling off relatively soon.
Yeah, but we're still going to see price growth. We're not going backward. If people are on the fences waiting for prices to drop,
It's not gonna
prices are not going to drop. They're not dropping. They're not going anywhere.
What makes you say that?
Because we still have the same initial problem. We still have lack of inventory.
Yeah.
We still have all the baby boomers in the market. We still have these millennials. They want theirs. They want a piece. They're starting families. They want houses too.
Sure.
So Generation Z Zoomers right behind them. So, and we have this healthy aging population that are aging in place. They're healthy.
They're not
going
downsizing,
anywhere.
right?
No, they're not. They're buying big houses. I've got people in their 60s buying these huge family homes. They don't need them, but they've got the money. They want them. They're doing it, and they're healthy. They can do stairs.
So if people
They
are,
can buy the scooters.
people are on the fence right now about, should they buy, should they wait?
They should buy right now. Rates are just going to go higher because I think right now we're going to see interest rates. They're going to start playing around with them a little bit. Yeah, we've seen them creep up. They're going higher. And I think they'll continue to go higher because I'm not an economist. I don't know. I wasn't educated that way. But we do need to cool the market a little bit. That does need to happen. If it gets to the point where the market stops, I think they drop it again.
That's a fine line. I mean, we have 8.5% year-over-year inflation, which is 6.5% above the Fed's target. So they're raising prime. They're trying to cool the economy, but you do it too aggressively, and then you're going to shut the housing market down.
Yep, and what it lags at 6 to 8 months, something like that. So
Right.
if it shuts down the housing market, guess what? It's going to drop it down again.
Right.
So they're going to find a sweet spot.
How important are interest rates to your customers?
So far for me, not important at all.
Yeah.
Not even a consideration, not a thought. Nope, not at all.
The focus should be the house, right?
Right. So, and unfortunately, interest rates affect the same group of people that are in the FHA basket.
Sure.
Those buyers that are already shot out of this market. Those are the people that it's affecting. Everybody else, nope, not a bit.
So FHA,
5%, so what?
why is it harder to get an FHA offer accepted now?
Because sellers just do not even want to deal with an FHA inspector.
Sure.
They're coming in and saying, oh, this handrail's not right. We don't like it. You need another one here. Stricter. FHA strict standards that sellers have to take it upon themselves then to do repairs to the house before it can sell.
Right.
Then the seller has to pay for a termite inspection. The little things like that. It usually takes longer to close. Instead of a 30-day, you're looking at 45, 50 days. And then if FHA doesn't get it done, nah, so what? We'll get it done. Nah. So it's just no sense of urgency with it. So agents will almost always, if they have any experience, advise their clients, don't take FHA.
Sure.
We've got 6 conventional offers. Who cares that the FHA offer is, $50,000 above? They can't do the appraisal gap, number one.
Sure.
It's impossible. They're 5% down. Where's the rest of the money coming from?
Sure.
Do
Yeah,
they have
I mean,
money?
typically that's what it boils down to, right?
Yeah. Can't do an appraisal gap.
Yeah, and I think, it brings up some interesting thoughts in my head because, the main reason that people try to go that route is because a lesser credit score could be accepted, but there's always ways to look at improving that. If you have a great lender partner that is willing to take the time and actually look at what the underlying issue is of why we are even trying to go FHA in the first place.
Right.
If there's room to improve the credit with tools that we have, they may not be far away from that conventional minimum rate or credit score rather, that we can get them to, especially if they come to us early enough in the process, like we're looking in the next 6 months, it gives us some time to repair some things and get them to a point where they can apply for a conventional product.
And what a difference that makes.
Yeah.
I mean, just flipping it straight to a conventional. What a difference that makes.
And we have some tools that we could aid in that effort, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I think about the same thing, with the appraisal gap scenario that we're in right now, where most people, they have to come up with something for an appraisal gap, and maybe more than they even expected. And where is that money coming from? If you're a client that's a first-time home buyer and you don't have equity that you're pulling from, you don't have a 401k that you can or are willing to tap into, maybe you don't have the option of gift money. Like what is it that you're doing? And I always wonder, those are conversations that we want to have with clients so that we can provide you and them with the most they can use for appraisal gap. And therefore, what can we do on the lender side, on the loan side, to be creative, whether that means put less down, look at doing an 80-20 and doing 100% financing, ways that we can allow you to have more in the appraisal gap bucket and allow them
Right.
to get an offer accepted.
But also this market won't last forever.
It won't.
Yeah. Are they really best served by doing a 100% loan and, even more exposure? Because, you always have to think and go back to, what we're in this business for is the client, how they're best served. Are they best served by getting them in a house right now? So there's so many components, and it's really situational. It's person by person.
Yeah.
That's a great point. So can you take us through, when you connect with a customer, various ways you do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you, what do you say? Where do you start with them when you're trying to size up where we go from here and structure a search?
I will usually meet at a house to begin with. So
a house they're interested in?
A house they're interested in, just a call. I meet at a house that they're interested in. And it's just, I first do a getting to know you instead of getting down to business. I get to know the people.
Nice.
So I don't even do sales to begin with, because I think that the personal connection and getting to know them, their family and their needs are more important. And then the rest of it comes. I think that you just have to make that human connection first.
Yeah.
If they like you, they'll buy from you.
Yeah.
So that's the number one thing that I do. And then the rest of it, you get to.
Yeah.
What are you looking for? Why are you looking for this? Is it close to your work? Is it the school district? Then you start asking the questions and you get all the answers. As you ask more, as they give more to you and more information, then you also get more loyalty from them. So you give and you get.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that also creates a bond there as well. You give them the correct and proper tools. A lot of the people are going out in the world and they're using the wrong tools. They're trying to find a house just using Redfin or Realtor.com, Zillow, or any online source, which those are all great sources. It's a good place to get started. So not knocking them, those are all great places to get started. But then when they're ready to transition and they're seriously looking, they need to use the professional tools. Many people do not know they're available, even if they worked with real estate agents in the past. They don't know that there's professional tools that they should be using.
Not all realtors are created equal.
I guess so. But yeah, as soon as you give them the professional tools, and it's like, oh, this is so much easier already.
Sure.
So,
Things that they
and
don't even
so
know
that's where it
exist.
begins.
Yeah.
It's just a personal connection and caring what happens to them and where they end up. And then also realizing, honestly, after so many years, I have realized that the right house comes at the right time. It always happens. It's almost like you can't force it.
Sure.
The right
You
house
lose one, but
always,
there's
yeah,
something
the
better
right
coming.
house always ends up coming to them.
So Sheryl, in this market, what would be your advice to first-time home buyers?
So I would say, number one, get a good agent, and then also make sure you have a fantastic lender behind you. Both lender and agent, it's really important that you have somebody that has been practicing for a long time. You can't have someone new to the market. And when I say practicing, when you're a practicing agent or a practicing lender, it's just like being a practicing physician or a practicing attorney. You're always learning. You're always learning something new. You're always getting new experiences. So as far as I am in my career, I'm still learning. I'm still getting new experiences. And that's what you're looking for. Those are the keys. You want somebody with as much experience as possible, that has seen as many markets as possible,
Right.
and has seen as many scenarios as possible. You have to have somebody
point.
that's going to get you all the angles that you need, so that you can get into the right home, get you connected with the right lender, get you connected if you need anybody for home improvements. It is amazing how many people a real estate agent who's been practicing for years and years, how many people they know, how well connected they are in the community. So just make sure. And it's so easy to do. It's so simple to do. Even Zillow offers that. You can look up any agent and look at their last 100 transactions. It tells you how long they've been in business. how many
wonderful.
transactions they do in a year.
Yeah.
They'll show you their last 100 transactions, where all their transactions have been on a splat map. So that's very important. So don't leave it to chance. This is one of your biggest purchases, and you need to make sure you do have professionals helping you, professionals on your side.
Yeah.
I have a question too.
Yeah.
This is like kind of pivoting a little bit, but I feel like there's an oversaturation of lenders. There's also an oversaturation of real estate agents. Yeah. If you are a realtor who is out there, maybe you've been in the business for 2 or 3 years and the market's kind of flipped and you haven't seen how it is right now before, what advice would you give, those realtors out there that want to stick and want to make it a career, but it's a grind and there's limited opportunities right now?
Well, there shouldn't be limited opportunities. This is heyday. So if you're finding yourself with limited opportunities in this market, this isn't for you. You need to get out. So if you're not able to make money in this market, wrong career.
Okay.
So get out. So it's a 99% failure rate. Wow. Average agent sells 2 houses per year. Wow. You're not making much money on 2 houses per year.
No.
So honestly, if you're selling less than 5 houses per year, again, wrong career. You need to get out of the way. If you do want to make it in this market, you do want to be a real estate agent, what you need to do is be mentored. Mm-hmm. That's what you need to find. You need to find a good, strong, experienced agent who's been in for a long time, who's willing to show you and teach you the tricks. There are tricks to this industry. There's a reason why real estate agents teach their children, then their children become power agents. There are secrets, there are tricks, there are things to learn, and they're just not teaching anybody.
Sure.
So it is something where you do need to be mentored. A broker's not going to spend their time teaching you all this stuff.
Right.
No.
You're not going to find it in the back of a magazine, no matter how many books you can pick up for $12.95. It's not going to be in one of those books.
Right. It feels like those brokers, that's what they'll do. They'll just kind of take a flyer on anybody, and if you work out, you work out. Right.
Yeah. So the new model for brokerages now, pay $295, pay $350, pay whatever. They don't care if you make it or not.
Right.
You're paying a monthly fee, or you're paying a transactional fee. They don't care. They've got E&O insurance. So each person's just money for them. Then if it's a traditional broker, they're taking 60% of the paycheck, and they just got all of the contacts in your entire life that they loaded to their database.
Sure.
And now they're marketing to all of them. So, they're just always recycling new people. Great, got all your contacts out.
That's really great advice too. And I think, you need someone on your side that's experienced all the markets, like you said, right? And that's really the only way to win in any market, is to know someone that can teach you. They've been through this before, you're going to be able to make it through this, but here's how. So the guidance is really important.
And here's the trick too. What would make an experienced agent want to take all the time to teach a younger agent? There's no mentorship. There's no program. There's nothing in it for an older agent to teach a younger agent.
Yeah.
Nothing in it for them. Unless it's your own child.
Sure.
Yeah.
Or they're part of your team, or,
Even then,
Yeah.
no benefit.
Yeah.
So
Crazy to think about.
Yeah. So it's almost one of those things of industry. You almost
Yeah. It's interesting.
need some kind of mentorship for the industry.
So I have a question backing up from the previous question we'd asked. So when you say you need a good lender, what do you mean by that? Like what does that mean to you?
So a good lender is a lender that other agents see, they recognize, they trust. It's a local phone number. It's an area phone number. It's somebody that I can tell other agents, hey, I know this guy. He's been in the business for 15 years. He knows what he's doing. He came through this company. He's a local guy. He's available right now. Give him a call right now. I can't tell you how many lenders you call, they're not available. You call, they don't pick up. You call, you leave messages, you never hear back from them.
Wow.
You email, never hear from them. So there's so many like that.
How do you feel about banks?
Oh yeah, no, that's bad idea. I always tell my people, stay away from the big banks, because They do not have to do anything to get your business. And they always think, oh, well, I bank with them, so they're going to take good care of me. No, they're not. Because the banks go, okay, well, they're loyal to me, so I'm going to chop off their head. That's what they do. If you go with your big bank, the bank that you normally bank with, you are guaranteed that you're going to pay $4,000 to $6,000 more for your loan. So you do need to go with an actual mortgage company that has the lower cost. That's all they do is mortgages. You need a mortgage company.
Yeah. The banks
not your
aren't
bank.
focused on that
No.
solely, or maybe really at all, right?
No.
Not
They're
the most important thing.
sociopathic when it comes to that. They're just going to chop off your head and charge you the most that you could absolutely bear. If they could pack more in there, they would.
It's a good perspective, and I know, we've heard the same over and over again.
Yeah.
So besides, being available, what else is important with a good lender?
I know that once my clients are in their hands, there's nothing I need to do. I don't have to check. I don't have to call. I don't have to babysit.
There's trust.
There's nothing I have to do at all. You've got them. I know it's good. I know I don't have to do anything until you say, oh, by the way, we're clear to close. Here's a closing date. We're good. See you closing.
In the market right now, I know we're seeing a lot of new construction because there's not a lot of inventory. So people are then, going that route. What advice would you have for someone that's looking at that option as to why they should use an agent?
Oh, you still need somebody to walk you through the system with builders to make sure that you're not being taken advantage of. It doesn't cost you any money. It does not cost you any money at all to have representation, to have somebody there on your side.
An advocate, yes.
Also, builders try to always make you use their lender. That may not always be in your best interest. You should always have your own lender and have a separation.
Why is that?
Well, I'm sure that their own lender is giving them kickbacks. So they're packing their deal in their own way.
Sure.
So you definitely need to have your own lender and have your own information private to yourself. And then, purchase the house yourself.
Yes.
Again, you need your own representation, not the builder's representation.
Yeah, if you don't use an agent and you use the in-house lender, who's
Looking
on
out
your
for you.
side?
Out
Who's
for
looking
your
out
best
for you?
interest.
It's
Exactly.
very concerning.
It doesn't cost you any money. Have an agent.
Sure.
So from the very beginning, don't even go to the builder's office without an agent or without saying, this person's my agent.
Sure.
Write them down in your book. That's my agent.
Sure.
Don't register me without registering my agent.
The buyer needs protection. They need someone looking out for them every step of the way. I think that's
Have
very
you
important.
seen a builder's contract? There might be some things in there you want to strike.
Sure.
So,
And I think we completely agree with that on the lender side as well, from what we've seen from some of the in-house lenders at the builders. Lack of communication and availability, I think, is a big thing, but just the terms seem a little like wishy-washy, right? Like there's some clarity that's missing there.
yeah, their attorneys definitely write those contracts. It doesn't have consumer protection like our contracts have.
Yes.
So nobody is looking out for you. They're looking out for themselves
Sure.
entirely. And as soon as you put down that money, kiss it goodbye, because if anything happens, you are not getting it back.
Sure.
It's not coming back.
And there's a lot of things that are hidden in there to protect the builder and not the buyer.
And they don't know all the tricky words that we can add at the end of the contract, notwithstanding.
Sure.
Any terms in this contract.
Well, especially right now, we've heard from clients that, the builders are doing some things that are different, right? Because of the way that the market is. And they have so many people wanting to build right now that, they're becoming stricter. They're forcing, buyers to sell homes before they even enter into contract. And then that leaves them with where to go for 12 months while their house is being built. So I think having, an advocate on both the agent and the lender side is very important.
And there are some wonderful builders out there. There are some very good, wonderful builders out there who are building quality products in great neighborhoods. So they're not all horrible.
Sure.
They're not all bad. But yeah, there's some great ones out there. And there's some great options for people too that people should be looking at, because you're not in an escalation situation. So there's many people that I'm like, okay, this is great that you're looking at this house. Let's look at this brand new house. Let's look at this builder. Let's take a look over here. We're not in an escalation situation. You're the only person they're talking to.
Sure.
We can lock in a price and we're good to go.
Yeah.
Well, for those people watching that maybe aren't very familiar with Cincinnati, they may be open to relocating here, they're going to be visiting here soon, or maybe they live here and they just don't know about all these fun, cool things to do. Are you comfortable shouting out a few places that you and your husband go to that you enjoy, maybe restaurants or things to do specifically?
So we spend a lot of time going to too many restaurants. So our favorite, is Boca. So we do go to Boca quite a bit. But then there's also a lot of really great other places like in OTR. There's Abigail Street. I do like Aladdin Eatery. So that is a Lebanese restaurant in Hyde Park. I love it. It's just fresh. It's delicious. And it's like one of those little secret places. I love Dutch's Larder. So that again is in Hyde Park. So that's almost a word of mouth kind of place as well. For cool free places to go, a lot of people don't know it, but you can go to the Cincinnati Art Museum. It is completely free.
Wow.
It's underwritten on a grant. So it was a charitable grant. So everybody gets to go absolutely for free, anytime, all the time, in perpetuity. Wow. So it's always going to be free. There's Playhouse in the Park. And a lot of times throughout the summer, they do completely free shows. So in different cities, different towns.
Really cool.
Our zoo is incredible, so that's a lot of fun. We like to go and do the zoo. We have East Fork Lake, which is nearby. And the state does a really nice job in all of the programs happening there. So they do the paddleboarding, that's free. They do stargazing. They do that in conjunction with the observatory in Hyde Park. So they'll set up their telescopes and they do like really a little cool educational night. So there's so much to do and it hits all the interests. There's also the Mercantile Library downtown. Yeah. And it's a library that you join. So it's a membership only. So It is reading. They do have like little groups of reading and to join, but then they also have yoga and other little special interests.
Awesome.
So there's all kinds of neat things to do in Cincinnati. There really are. So I love to take people on tours when they're brand new to Cincinnati. I love to take them on Cincinnati tours, starting in downtown OTR, through Hyde Park, through Evanston area, Walnut Hills. So I love to take them all the way through the city and then through Marymount as well. So it is just so charming, so beautiful, all those Tudor style homes and old English homes. So,
Cincinnati's beautiful.
If anybody ever wants to do a tour, they hit me up for that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you so much for your time, Sheryl. I think, Eric and I really enjoyed this and we really, really appreciate your time. I think, the overarching theme here is that, I think both from you and from us, we want clients to know the importance of having a good real estate agent, having a good lender that both have experience and can work in conjunction together for the best outcome for the client, especially in a market like this, but really in any market. But we want to make sure that we're, giving them the tools to have the most success when they're placing their offers. So if there's anyone who has any more information or have any questions, Sheryl's information will be following this slide as well as Eric and I's. Please feel free to reach out anytime. We're happy to answer questions or help out any way we can. Thanks for tuning into A Lending Hand with Lauren and Eric. We'll see you next time.
See ya.